Hello, Year 7. I'm Mr. Baines and I'll be going through your lessons with you during this term. So, welcome Year 7 to your first lesson of your new topic. Throughout the year, we have looked at civilizations. In this topic, we are going to be comparing them. The two main civilizations we'll be comparing are the Romans and the Normans. Both of these civilizations invaded Britain. Today's driving question is, how different was the Roman invasion of Britain to the Norman invasion of Britain? We are going to compare both invasions and see how they were different. Your first task is to pause this and go on to the knowledge quiz part of the lesson and answer the revision questions based on the Roman and Norman invasions of Britain. There are 10 questions. Each question is worth a point. And it's all based on stuff that you have done already this year. Pause the video now. Welcome back. Now, Britain was a place that other civilizations wanted to invade. This was because of 4 main reasons. First off, we have resources. Britain had lots of goods: corn, silver, gold, wood, and much, much more. This would help any civilization grow, and the Normans and the Romans both used these resources for their own merits. Secondly, there is power. By conquering more countries and making their empire bigger, this makes the civilizations more powerful. Now, the Romans did this more than the Normans, but the Normans did gain more power by invading Britain. As well as that, there was ambitions. Rulers like Julius Caesar and William of Normandy, it was their ambition to lead these invasions. Finally, there was revenge. For the Romans, the Britons had been helping the Gauls, who were the French, against the Romans in various wars and battles. For the Normans, William of Normandy felt betrayed by Harold Godwinson on the promise he made on religious relics. Both civilizations we are looking at wanted revenge for one reason or the other. First, we're going to look at the Roman invasion of Britain, and we're going to look at it in more detail. Now, Julius Caesar attempted to invade Britain twice. This is different to the Normans, as they had no failed invasion. Julius Caesar, the full name was Gaius Julius Caesar. He was a Roman general and a dictator. This means he was not voted to be the ruler, and he wasn't a monarch, so not a king or queen. He was born July 100 BC in Rome, Italy, and he died on the 15th of March 44 BC in Rome, Italy. He was best known for being the dictator of Rome and putting an end to the Roman Republic. So he was the first dictator after they voted for their leaders. Now, the first invasion happened in 55 BC. This was the first of the 2 failed Julius Caesar invasions. Caesar sailed towards Deal in Kent, which is not that far from Folkestone, but heavy storms began and destroyed several Roman ships. Caesar landed on Deal Beach with a very small army and built the Roman camp there. The Romans charged at the Britons, and then in the rain, the Britons attacked the Roman camp with chariots. Caesar was defeated and decided to return to Gaul, which is in France. The second failed attempt of an invasion was in 54 BC, a year later. Caesar landed again at Deal with 800 ships and 30,000 soldiers. With no resistance, Caesar's troops marched to Wittgenstein. However, a tribe of Britons attacked the Romans. The Romans used their better weapons to defeat them, and Caesar's army took many as hostages. The weather began to get worse, and Caesar decided to return to Gaul. He did not believe that Britannia, or Britain, Britannia means land of tin, was worth a long war, so he surrendered. They were the two failed invasions. Now we have the first successful invasion. After the two failed invasions, Claudius successfully invades Britain. In 43 AD, Claudius invades Britain with 20,000 men after King Verica of the British Atrebates tribe comes and asks him for help to defeat his enemies. The Romans occupy Britain as part of the Roman Empire, making tribes convert to Roman rule, setting up trade routes with the rest of the world, making Hadrian's Wall, and generally imposing the Roman way of life in Britain. The only big difference here between this invasion and the Norman invasion of 1066 is the Normans didn't build a Hadrian's Wall. Both civilizations used their way of ruling, both set up trade routes with the rest of the world, and both set up their ways of life on Britain. So a lot of similarities there, guys. So why was he more successful than Caesar? He brought more troops than Caesar. He had more legions, which are part of the Roman army. He managed to get the barbarians, the Britons, on his side. He brought 38 war elephants, whereas Caesar didn't have any. He brought lots of heavy artillery, which are weapons that the army use. Caesar only brought a small amount. He trained his troops really well and brought along builders, doctors, and weapon makers. So when Claudius settled in Britain, they were able to build and treat their troops. He had a secret weapon, the ballista, which was a medieval missile weapon, which was very good tactic and was used a lot. Caesar didn't bring this. He made the local tribesmen puppet kings, so they ruled for him. He made the rules, they enforced them. This reduced the risk of barbarians fighting back, as they believed their kings were still in charge rather than the Romans. This is a massive difference between the Romans and the Normans. The Normans did not use puppet kings. The Normans made a lot of changes. Now, to move on to the Norman invasion. Before the battle, William chose not to move inland. He landed at Pevensey and built his defences there and at Hastings. He encouraged his men to raid the surrounding areas. This meant that Harold Godwinson and his troops had to come to him. Now, if you remember, Harold Godwinson had just won the Battle of Stamford Bridge up north in York and had to ride 5 days to London from Stamford Bridge. His foot soldiers on the way to London could not keep up, so he sent orders for new troops who were untrained to meet him in Sussex. They then rode on for a couple of days to Hastings. William's troops and Harold's troops met at a little town called Battle, just outside of Hastings. So why did William win when Harold Godwinson had shown to be a successful leader in the Battle of Stamford Bridge? Now, if you look at the table, it compares what type of soldiers are in each army, what military tactics are used, and what they were going to do to win. Now, if you look at the bottom of what type of soldiers are in their army, you can see that William of Normandy used knights who were on horseback equipped with lance. These were his cavalry troops. Harold Godwinson and other Anglo-Saxons had not fought against cavalry before. This meant that this was a new tactic to fight against. If we look at military tactics, Harold Godwinson used shield wall just like he did at Stamford Bridge, whereas William of Normandy split his army into 3 sections. He had the archers at the front, foot soldiers in the middle, and the cavalry at the back. Once again, this is not something that the Anglo-Saxons and Harold Godwinson had to fight against. And how are they going to win the battle? Harold Godwinson used same tactics that he'd always used. So this meant William knew what those tactics were going to be. You have to remember at this time, Britain was very Christian, and so were a lot of other countries, including Normandy. So the fact that William had the blessing of the Pope, who was the head of the church in the world then, was very important to his people. They really believed that God would help them win. Now, that's all the information you need about the two massive invasions of Britain. What we're going to do now is you're going to do some tasks. I'm going to give you the instructions. You'll then pause the video, go and do the task, and then come back. Okay, so now for your tasks. The first task is to use the videos and the information on this PowerPoint to fill in the storyboard. As you can see, this is a storyboard of the two failed Julius Caesar invasions. I've got the dates, I've given you the locations, I've given you the number, and I've given you picture clues to help you. You can use the PowerPoint to fill in the blanks. Now, once you've paused this video, you can come out of this section of the lesson. You go to the task section of the lesson, you click on the document, and this is the first task on that document. It will look like the storyboard on the screen. It will then have numbers underneath, and you are to fill in those numbers of what happens in each of those. You can use the PowerPoint to help you. There are videos also in the material section you can use. Pause this video and fill in the storyboard now. Good job, guys. Now the second task. Go on to the second task on that task sheet that you've done the previous task on. You will see some boxes that look like this slide here. When you get to that section, you can pick the 3 colours of the key below, or you can pick 3 of your own. If you pick 3 of your own, you will need to change the key. What you're going to do is you're going to read these and decide which one of these boxes are bad decisions by Harold, and then colour in him that colour. I have picked red. You can read these and decide which ones are good decisions by William. I have picked purple. And then you go on to the last ones and pick which one are just luck, so either good luck for William or bad luck for Harold. I have picked green. You just colour in that box. Pause the video and off you go to that task. Well done, guys. Really pleased with how well you're working. For the last task of this lesson, you will see there are 2 sets of questions. These questions are also on the same task sheet you have been working on. All the questions that you can see on the slide now are answered in the videos in the material part of this lesson. All the questions that are on the slide now are on the reading that is in the material part of the question. So you go to the material part of the lesson, you watch the videos that are there, you read about the Battle of Hastings, and then you answer these 2 sets of questions on the task sheets you have already been working on. Okay? So pause the video, read the sheets, watch the videos, and answer the questions. Well done, guys. Pause the video now. Brilliant stuff, guys. Keep at it. Now, welcome back to the last part of this lesson. To do this part of the lesson, you can use everything that we have used so far. So you can use this video, you can use the PowerPoint that goes with it, you can use the reading material, the videos and the tasks. You're going to answer this exam question. You're going to use the sentence starters that are on the exam question part of the lesson. So once this video is finished, go to the exam question part of the lesson and answer this question using the sentence starters. It is an 8-mark exam question, so use all of the sentence starters to get the full marks. Write down as much detail as you can using everything we have done today. So well done, guys. You've done a lot of good work today. Keep it up. See you next week, and you can give that exam question a go now.